right. Let's get it 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 right, fam. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Deala T. And this is No Filters. Always appreciate you hitting that like button for me. Subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, get comfortable. Get you something to eat. Get you something to drink. Get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. Let me tell you something. It's getting interesting by the day. But let's get into this here.
Oh, guys, talk about having the worst poker face ever. These white boys, they don't even know how to sell it. So if you ever wondered, how come these white boys, they haven't decided to do an interview with somebody like a Nancy Grace, who's a former prosecutor? How come they haven't done an interview with a regular news station, a professional journalist? And instead, they choose to do an interview with Uncle Tatum. Well, the answer is simple. They really thought that they were outsmarting the public. Find a black person that hates black people more than racist white people do. Because he'll protect us, he's not going to try to ask any hard, difficult questions and force us to contradict ourselves. And on top of that, because he looks black on the outside, that's going to make us look good. Because here we are giving our first exclusive interview to a black person after our quote-unquote black friend, Nolan Wells, loses his life, and the last time he was seen was with us. So they're thinking no one is going to suspect us. Hell, we're doing an interview with a black guy. This shows we still have black friends. So this move is genius. But the problem is, they look so damn guilty that they shouldn't be doing interviews with them, because every time they do, they expose themselves even more.
2 videos in one day, I must be a mad woman! With only 4 minutes of this video for me to work with, watch what I've noticed. Keep your eyes on this one and Warren, okay? Watch right after the first question.
What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and...
Did y'all see it? Did you all see them literally lock eyes? I'll do it again slower for you.
Some people have gone out and...
Warren wasn't ready for him to break eye contact yet. He wanted to say something with his eyes. Speaking of signals, because this guy really thought that nobody would notice. Now, I'm not sure who this guy is, but notice how he's wearing a hat that says Call Cox. Now, y'all remember that Bobby Cox is the mayor of Ocean Springs, and he's friends with these people. Cox is also the name of the lawyer that they hired first. Watch what I caught twice in 4 minutes.
That clip of all of us on the boat, who it is gonna believe what they want to hear. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something.
Oh, I'm sorry, did we crack your super secret code, dude? We'll just do baseball signals, guys. They'll never suspect. Which is honestly just a testament for how stupid these kids are. They have to have an adult sit in the interview with them and touch their hat. I can't wait for the rest of this interview.
Yeah, making signals with your baseball cap on camera is probably not the brightest idea. I shouldn't have to tell any of you guys this, but this is the way this does not behave. The story that you gave the public from the beginning is the truth. Not only should you be doing interviews with everybody, but yeah, just like the girl said, they shouldn't need no grown-ass, inconspicuous man sitting there with them, giving them signals. They sitting over here with the biggest raccoon in the country, and they still can't make themselves look better. In fact, they look even worse.
All right, new shit has come to light since my last video. And I want to give a shout out to Janetta Brantley, who is an expert audio mixer and was able to isolate the audio without the dispatcher. And holy shit. I'm not gonna lie, when people were first saying this in my comments, I was like, wait, are we sure this is real? TMZ was where I initially got my recording from. They did not have the beginning part. Janetta got it from WLOX News, and they had the full audio with the beginning, with the hold music. And that is where she was able to get this information. So then I started piecing things together. Let's talk about Granddaddy Jerry, who was in the call too, who canceled the tow.
Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And he said that, yeah, Jerry, yeah, he said, I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, they'll call me back.
Of course, I did some digging on Granddaddy Jerry. I thought it was very interesting that Granddaddy Jerry owns a boat shop that is in Fort Bayou.
Wow.
Okay, it's only about a minute away.
Wow.
So if we go back to the original timeline, it's saying that that call was at 4 o'clock, okay? But they didn't leave until 4:31. And remember, they were freaking out in the background. So for 30 minutes after that call, they did not move. So what happened within that 31 minutes? That's key. So then I went back to the Warren interview with Officer Tatum, and he talks about them having to unplug the boat.
We stopped at one point. My buddy pulled the plug out the boat, got back in the boat. The captain of the boat got in the water, pulled the plug out the boat, got back in the boat, and hit it.
This is the exact coordinates of what he told the CTOW dispatcher right here. So they would have had to take the plug out in the middle. He said that it was about 30 feet. I don't understand why you would, if a boat was sinking, why you would take a plug out in 30 feet of water. And I know there's going to be people coming at me, oh, you don't know boating. No. I don't care. I've been on plenty of boats. He says that afterwards, they went to Fort Bayou to plug the boat back in.
We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the wall.
Hold up. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. You in here with your boy Deala T. My fam, this is No Filters. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. And what? Share this with the world. Now check this out, fam. You know, we heard, man, if they walk like a, talk like a, we know what it is. If y'all sinking, and then you gonna take the plug out the boat, y'all sinking even faster. And then you telling me y'all start hightailing it somewhere else. I don't understand it. I don't understand that at all. Y'all sinking, and then when she asks you, you know, how bad is it? You like, I don't know. We're just sinking. I don't know. So that's how you know something ain't right. Because she's asking, if you're sinking and you're really sinking, this is how you know that ain't true. Because if you're sinking, you could just look down and see how bad it is. When you're making a call saying I'm sinking, it's like, okay, we're halfway in, we're a quarter in, it's to my ankles, it's getting bad, it ain't got to my knees, it's getting bad, stuff is starting to, come on, man. You're talking about you don't know. After just yelling and telling these people to shut the F up, and then yell, shut the F up. And see, this is really what the problem is that we finna start seeing here. Because blatantly, it's too many things that's gonna stick. The phone and the phone messages that were deleted, that's gonna stick, okay? This CTOW call, this is gonna stick because it's authentic. And TMZ released it while they over there playing sides. They even released it. But the difference is, you had to go somewhere else to get the entire CTOW call in its entirety. That's the difference. You got to get the call in its entirety. And TMZ did not release that. So you don't know if they holding information or they protecting somebody. You never know, right? But what we do know is TMZ definitely trying to protect. Because if they was playing neutral ground, they would know everything right now was not being done correctly as it would be done in any other regular case. Okay? Now, the CETO call, they trying to act like somebody put a transcript to it for you to believe the words. As if you can't hear the CETO call. And this must be what slaves went through back in the day when shit was just happening blatantly in their face and people lied about it. I mean, it's blatant. Back then, some blatant what happened in your face. And you would still get beat, hung, punished, whatever you want to call it, knowing that you're innocent, knowing that them white people did this and did that, knowing what they did back in slavery days, knowing that a white person has done you like this or done wrong by you, and you can't do nothing about it. So when I look at that and I look at today, I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. You telling me they got a bunch of mother effers on a boat and they talking clear as hell and people playing like they can't hear shit? People playing dumb, like all of a sudden everybody need a hearing aid? Like all of a sudden everybody can't hear or your mind ain't making you understand what you just heard or something. Oh, this is diabolic, heinous work. Because even when it comes down to people that's guilty in a prejudiced place, this is how they operate. Think about this right quick. The governor. First thing the governor said was no foul play. And if there is foul play, then those people, we will find out. But if you look at him and as he's talking, now that we know the governor knows Bart and Bart's family, I see that when he did that interview, the first time the governor spoke up and first time he came out and said something, I see why he looked like that. He was red in the face. And as he said what he said all of that with energy. But at the end, when he said, if there is foul play, then things will be dealt with accordingly. You see what I'm saying? When he responded and said that, you can tell in his mind that he already knew what was up. You can just tell that this man already knew what's up. Already got a call. See, now that the picture came out, that the governor got about friends with Bart and his family, that raises so many questions about how we hear Bart's name in the CETO call. The fact that Bart and them even said that this man was out of town and these people yelling this man's name out on the boat. And then the fact that Bart automatically goes and get a lawyer. So you knew he know what the situation was and what it was about to be. Because he instantly went and got a lawyer quick. Before everything started coming out, these people had already lawyered up. That's what I'm trying to say. So now that we see the governor is friends with Bart and Bart's family, it makes even more sense about why Bart's name is not being brought up. It makes even more sense about how and why they would literally try to make you think what you hear is not what you hear. That is sad, fam. That's sick. Trying to make you think you out your damn mind. See, that's what they doing right now. They have to, you got to understand something right quick. These boys are not on a pursuit to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. Because if they was, they'd already contacted the family and tried to continue to get information to get to them. Period. Okay? Instead, they are focused on content creators and defamations, right? And you got to understand something. Anytime, because you got to understand, they sitting here trying to act like they victims because of that. And they talking about doing their own investigation in a situation where they're saying, okay, they are more focused. They didn't even bring up the GoFundMe account that they made on behalf on using Nolan Wells' name. Because in my mind, that makes me think that they know that they are guilty, and all it is a matter of time before the world knows. That's what that feels like, fam. It feels like they know what's up. So y'all all of a sudden create a GoFundMe to pay for these court costs and all of this whole shit. Y'all go do a fund me situation, and y'all using that money to pay the lawyer you just got. And by the way, the funny part about it is that, again, they coming out talking about it's a couple witnesses that's valued in the city that say Nolan Wells was on the island at 6 o'clock. See, this is what I'm saying, fam. That shit don't matter. Y'all just pulled two random people out the box, and you telling the world to be, oh, okay, don't worry about it, because Nolan Wells was still on the island and my people was gone. But you got their stories contradict. Brandon Tatum lied and acted like them boys did a lie detector test, and the lawyer tells you, oh, they didn't do no lie detector test. You understand what I'm saying, fam? So you got to understand the way they've gone about this thing now, when that the interview is kind of right in your face. They have hired the lawyers to go against defamation. They have hired the lawyers to defend their right of public opinion. They are hired these lawyers to focus on defamation of character and things of that nature. And what's funny is that they don't even care for the Nolan Wells getting to the end of the bottom. This is how you know they know what happened, right? Because they are not saying, hey, we want to get to the bottom of it. They're not even saying that. That's how you know when you in hot water and it's bubbling, you can't even taste the recipe. Woo! Say that again for the people in the back. See, when you in hot water and it's bubbling, you can't even taste the seasoning. You can't even taste the recipe. That's a real fact. You can't taste it. It's too hot. Y'all focused, it's getting so hot that y'all focused on how you look and what's being said and how it's being said and the fact that you know what's being done and what's being did. See, y'all can come out and keep letting Brandon Tatum interview you, but that within itself lets us know that you all are doing this a foul play raid. Having Brandon Tatum only to interview you all is foul play. That's foul play within itself. You got a black guy that hates black people, and he's speaking for you all, and then on top of that, right? Y'all not doing no interviews nowhere else that's credible. Brandon Tatum is not credible. Brandon Tatum is he's another civilian. He ain't nothing but another civilian. And it's funny because that's the only person y'all talking to interview you all. And every time you interview, you sound stupid. Look stupid too, because now we done figured out people out here, y'all doing side language. Y'all doing baseball signals. What was the signal? That was to let them know what to say, what not to say, when to talk, when who turn it is to talk. I mean, come on, man. This shit is just really getting embarrassing at this point. When y'all trying to make yourself look like something ain't happened that did happen, but the fact that you telling me y'all just left the man hanging and he was just on an island and don't nobody know, but yet y'all on a CETO call, making a boat call. You done called your daddy. That's what I'm trying to tell you here, fam. If the boat is sinking and that's it, Cool. And then the daddy called and tell this person what's gonna happen. And then this how I know. This is how I listen to me what I'm finna say right now. This is how you know it's true what they said on their called boat. This is how you know it's true. When the operator talked to the captain, and we can really hear that the captain said, "Oh, that must be Jerry. Yeah, that's Jerry, his people." The operator was like, "Oh, yeah, is that, yeah, because something's going on." She could already hear everything that we're making them out to say. She already heard it. So when she called the captain and the captain says, "Hey, I'm talking to the daddy already," she's like, because, yeah, they need some type of, it's something's happening. You can hear that. She's saying, she's with that. Like, she's like, yeah, because you can tell, that's not a regular tow call. That's not a regular boat sinking and just need a tow. She heard that shit. So her reaction to telling the captain and the captain saying, "Yeah, I just got off the phone with the daddy and the daddy telling me we ain't got to go out there unless they need us." And she like, "Yeah, think about that, fam. If you listen to the dispatcher, her reaction to telling this man about these kids on this, about these guys on this boat, is like she overheard some real shit. Yeah, she overheard some real life shit.
And Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the on, so we were all tired, and eventually we go over to
and then also too, family, hit that like button, double tap that screen. Listen to me. The lawyer lied earlier and said that they contacted people looking for Nolan. At no time does Warren say they called anybody looking for Nolan. Ain't no time in this man's first interview do he even say he called looking for Warren. He don't say he called multiple people looking for Warren. Looking for Nolan. Warren didn't say, he would say that right now, but he not even saying that right now at all. And it's funny because it all of a sudden comes up that he ended up contacting the mother, but when he contacted her, his energy sounded not right. And he telling the mama to calm down, we gonna find him. She like, hold on, he missing? See how he told on himself? Man telling on himself. You gotta listen to people's words, man. You gotta listen to what the people say, man. You gotta listen to the words, man.
her mom, she was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. So we all went over there to swim and, hang out.
They went back to the original dock and took naps? What? You know what he didn't mention in his video? Anything about the boat being taken back to Fort Bayou and getting the boat out. So who took that boat back to Fort Bayou? Now, this is the original dock that they are speaking of. And this is from one of the cameras outside in the very beginning of the morning, right before they went to Horn Island. As you can see, Nolan is right over there in the blue swim trunks. Well, my question is, if you can show us this at 9:54 in the morning,
why you can't show us the other shit?
When they came back at 6:06 p.m. and left at 7:19 p.m. Show us that footage, because that is much more important than the one.
But y'all ain't no foul play being done? But should nobody be worried about nothing? Really, fam?
at 9:56 a.m. Also, Officer Tatum just posted that they have images. Nolan is right over there in the blue swim trunks. Well, my question is, if you can show us this at 9:54 in the morning, why don't you show us this when they came back at 6:06 p.m. and left at 7:19 p.m.? Show us that footage.
That's a whole hour.
That is much more important than the one at 9:56 a.m. Also, Officer Tatum just posted that they have images shared of the boat towed by another boat after the sea tow dispatch call. Now here are the images. Looks like he's on the phone, isn't he? Who's he talking to? Granddaddy Jerry?
Yeah.
And who is this girl? Because
Katie.
there was a girl in the background.
And they lied. That's Katie probably.
One more thing I do want to point out is the officer was given verbal consent to view the GPS on the boat by the granddaddy Jerry, okay? But another thing is the NDMR officer was notified by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office that they would be taking the lead on the investigation, and MDMR would play a supporting role.
Wow.
This was the day after the incident happened. And it wasn't only until 5:54 that the Jackson County Sheriff's Office established a command post at the Lake Mars boat launch. That's like a whole day.
I'm not the kind of person that engages in drama, especially when it comes from
And
creative.
again, the governor knows Bart's family. He know them like that. You get a call from up top that some other police department about to take over a case in a different jurisdiction, knowing that the water was not their jurisdiction or was not their situation. And they should have let the people, like the Cajun Navy people, they should have let them go on and handle it, fam. This was their situation. They should have let them take lead and do this, because those people let out way more than these people. Now that we know that that's what happened, it just raises more red flags that the governor knows Bart's family and control, somebody's in control. Let's just say it like that. Let's keep it a buck and a bean. Somebody's in control, fam. Somebody's in control. It's no way that it's just being allowed like this.
Creator, but one of my mutuals is out here trying to gaslight people about the Nolan Wells case, on top of insulting my intelligence. Well, then I'm gonna have to drag you, honey. Let's just go ahead and read this section of the report together out loud, and then I'll play you her take, and you can tell me if it's full-on gaslighting or not. Approximately 1:38 hours on July 5th, 2026, Corona spoke with Ocean Springs Police Department regarding the complaint and advised that JCO would be taking the lead on the case. Corona also spoke with JCSO Lieutenant Odom, the shift supervisor, who said that they had taken the initial report. He said his deputies had spoken with several friends that traveled to the island on the vessel with Nolan, and that when they left, he was in the company of an unknown female, and that he chose to remain on the island.
That doesn't say the boys spoke to the cops. It says that the two officers spoke to each other at 1:38. The one officer relayed to the other officer that what the individuals had said at that time. Not that the boys spoke to the police. What I'd like to remind you is reading comprehension that hard for you people. Is reading comprehension that hard? Is reading comprehension that hard? I'm really trying to understand why it's so difficult when you read a document that you can't comprehend what the words are saying in the document.
Yeah, is reading comprehension that hard, Stephanie? Because you're trying to say that the deputies didn't speak to the boys, and that the boys aren't lying about Katie being an unknown female, nor are they lying about saying that they didn't speak to the police until July 7th. So let's break this down together. If Nolan's mother called the Marina Dispatch at 11:49 on July 4th, then 1:38 hours would be July 5th, 2 hours later. The MDMR lieutenant then spoke to the Ocean Springs Police Department and then spoke to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, who was taking the lead on the case. Lieutenant Odom, who was the shift supervisor, took the initial report. The Sheriff's Office told Lieutenant Carone that his deputies had spoken with several of his friends that had traveled to the island on the vessel with Nolan. So that means between 11:30 and 1:30, the deputies spoke to several friends. Those deputies then reported back to Lieutenant Odom, who then relayed the message to the Marina's lieutenant. Now, it's safe to assume that the first person that they would talk to would be Warren, who was the one who reached out not only to Nolan's mother, but the Coast Guard. We knew that Nolan's friends all knew Katie because Warren said that they were all text messaging her the next day. So not only did Warren lie about all of them not talking to the police until July 7th, they clearly lied about this being an unknown female to them. Your excuse for that phrasing is that the police just didn't know who this girl was, that Warren or his friends definitely would have told the police about it, and the cops just chose not to include that in their report. But that doesn't make sense because all people in all reports are unknown to the police. This made you look really bad, Stephanie.
Wow.
The absolute nerve of you, Stephanie, to say that you won't engage in my crazy conspiracy theories as if you weren't standing there right next to me during the Karen Reed case. That's why we're mutuals. You have no problem seeing the conspiracy when it comes to Karen Reed, yet when it came to Carmelo Anthony or Nolan Wells, suddenly you're ride or die for the people that are giving inconsistent stories. I told her I would be willing to hop on a live with her and we can definitely discuss all these inconsistencies.
No.
But I don't think she will because I've been suspecting for a while now that she's being paid by somebody for her opinions. Because there is nobody dirtier in this world than a MAGA lawyer from Florida. And I am genuinely concerned that you are a defense attorney and this is what you do. Because the only other options are either you're the one with the reading comprehension problem or you're a shitty lawyer. And I've spent a year calling out your bad takes privately and publicly, but I'm done. Because anybody who would take a grieving mother's Instagram post as proof of something over an official report that proves that witnesses are lying is a bad person. Or you can be a good person and admit that you're wrong and apologize to your follower.
Cause think about that for a minute. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Listen to me. This lady is bust out basically talking about Nolan Wells and family as if they tripping. They just want to know what happened. That's it. It was the guy come out talking about Nolan Wells and then say no foul play. Clearly something's wrong. And then the way that this is being handled, 1,000 people got 1,000 different point of views from a place they all was at when the people that was there with them and left with them know exactly what's up. But nobody's really said nothing. Everything is basically, don't talk about us, don't talk about us, don't talk about us. But newsflash, you can't shut nobody up, fam, with that energy right there. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's a new situation coming out, regardless. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. This is out of hand, trust me. Trust me when I say this out of hand. And now they talk about two new guys. Two new people that seen him on Horn Island at 6 o'clock, willing to confess and all this and that. And I said, nah.
Bombshell tonight in the Nolan Wells investigation, a mystery altercation emerges, and not with the guys that took him to the island on the boat. Does this change things? We cannot ignore it. Good evening, I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
If people are sending in videos, they should be using those videos to conduct further investigation.
There is a group of people fighting at 5 p.m. Who are they? Where was he? He wasn't floating in the water. He wasn't on the shore. Tonight, evidence of a so-called mystery altercation is emerging. Straight out to Crime Stories investigative reporter Dave Mack. Dave, what can you tell me first about this so-called mystery altercation? And this is not with the men that went to Horn Island on the boat. You know what? Let me just be clear. Crime Stories is not a symposium, a gathering place for a witch hunt. We want the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells. We are here to convict no one yet. And if evidence of a mystery altercation with other young men arises, we are pursuing it. Dave Mack, what do we know about some mystery altercation? We think after the Triton left Horn Island.
Nancy, this is a mystery altercation that is being described through social media as something that took place around 5 p.m. that day. This is 30 minutes after the Triton already left. And in this particular account, a Bertram boat was seen leaving shortly afterward at a high rate of speed. Now, this social media conversation claims that a person, one of the passengers, pretty certain Nolan Wells, was part of a group that was, quote, almost fighting around 5 p.m.
Whoa, wait. Hold on, Nellie. Did you say 5 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay, the reason I jumped in, Dave Mack, is because 5 p.m., if Nolan was seen in an altercation at 5 p.m. on Horn Island, that's after the Triton, had already left. Let's see the boat, control room. We're talking about the boat leaving Horn Island. That boat. Had that boat already left when this altercation occurred? Dave Mack, that's a yes, no.
Yes.
Listen.
But the person said in the DM to another kid that is associated, not any of the kids that I interviewed and talked to, but that could be associated to some degree, that knew Nolan, that this person wrote a message saying, me and my husband saw you arguing with Nolan, and to the effect of you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Nolan and another person.
All right, the reason why I don't believe this ugly mother right here is because, see, a guy like this, I believe, is working behind the scenes, and that they all in a huddle to create a clean up process right now. Okay, let me say that again for the people in the back. I believe Brandon Tatum is a part of the campaign of cleaning up what these boys have done, or what they have been allegedly involved in. Okay, and anytime Tatum come out and say something, I think they've already prepped him on what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and who to say it to. Let me say it again. I believe they prepped him on what to say, how to say it, who to say it to, and when to say it. Okay? And you can tell that's the case, fam, because him coming out saying things, and then they hire new lawyers, and now those lawyers are standing on, hey, there were two suitable, like the whole town love them, two credible witnesses that say they saw Nolan on the island at 6 o'clock. Now, Now, understand this. They said 5 o'clock the first time. Woo! They said 5 o'clock the first time, which is in this first interview, 5 o'clock. Now they saying, yo, listen, man, 6 o'clock, there's some people on there that said they seen the man at 6 o'clock. Now, think about this. They have no other nothing but a he say, she say campaign right now. About these he say, she say, they saw that man. And it is so sad, man. That is so sad, man, because they literally trying to block that out. And I think Tatum has been prepped to say this first, because this is when he first said it. He first put it out there right here, fam. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. He hit that like, he was the first to say and come out saying stuff, right? So he comes out and says, yo, some shit like this. So you gotta watch these, or you gotta watch this, because Tatum working with him. So you gotta understand, he's the only one working with him. They not going public to nobody, because if they go talk to Nancy Grace gonna dissect the shit out their ass and make them spit up the truth. That's what Nancy gonna do. They can go to Chris Kumar, but the problem with Chris Kumar is he might tap in and out of what he supposed to do and not supposed to do. So he gonna ride with him, because some shit Chris Kumar said the other day, talking to that first lawyer, which by the way, I thought the man was like KKK affiliate or something, like one of they lawyers, right? She talking to him, he talking to Chris, and Chris ain't, he not even answering Chris questions. So that's how you know Chris, is on their side, because he has no pushback. He's pushed back in so many other situations, but he's not pushing back in this one. He has no reiteration of wanting to repeat the question again so he can get a straightforward answer. I mean, it's just so many things he's not doing that a regular reporter who is not biased nor on either side would do. Period. So what we're talking right now and how serious it is just the fact that, like I said, when Brandon Tatum came out and said this first, I knew they was planting the seed. Okay? Tatum don't do nothing but plant seeds of corruption. He just spreading seeds, planting seeds. Because think about another seed. He just said in here that somebody hopped in his DM explaining about these two people talking about they was telling somebody else what they did, right? He got no name for us. He just got a scenario that he's saying, hey, breaking news. I got a message from somebody talking about somebody else checking Nolan or something. It's just kind of weird, because they're just saying that they got that type of footage. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest problem, fam, is because when Tatum come out and say it, it's basically him planting the seed. And once he plant that seed in everybody's mind, now he's opened up your mind to a consideration. Okay, follow me here. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. When Tatum says something, he literally is planting a seed to open up your mind to override what you know or what you think. Okay? He is coming to plant a corrupted seed in your mind. Right. So think about this. He is trying to be in your mind first. So now he's trying to get you to act like you out your damn mind. That's what he doing. He gonna make it seem like you out your mind, because you could know what you heard in the CETO call, and he even downplaying that, right? And that's how you know he on their side. And I'm like, how is he even able to be with them? Like, how is he even able to be active in this manner? Like, how? Like, how was he able to operate the way he is? And I'm knowing that he is with them people, because you got to be with them people to even be able to operate in this manner. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by because I'm really trying to think that CETO call is very deep. The man phone, I heard that they ain't even gave up the phone yet. Oh man, we gotta hit this like button. Come on, let's go.
He may have been in an argument with, to me, are people that need to be investigated.
Guys, let me first introduce Cheryl McCollum, Colgate's Investigative Research Institute founder. Let that sink in at coldcasecrimes.org. She's a star of a hit podcast that I have listened to on loop, by the way, Cheryl McCollum. And I don't like much of what you're saying yet. I keep listening. Zone 7, she's author of a brand new book, Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer, solving the cold case of the Flint River Killer's daughter, and more. But for my purposes tonight, she's a forensics expert. Greg Morse, before I even get to the merits of this, where I meant to go with this is, everyone has been focusing on the young men that were on the boat that took him to Horn Island. Then we get this audio that we're trying to corroborate, where seemingly in the background you hear them talking about trying to revive Nolan Wells on the boat. Is that even real? We don't know yet. Or has it been doctored? Trying to find out. I've got experts telling me, renowned experts by the way, it's real. And renowned experts say it's
And you know what else is funny? Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Let me tell you what else is funny. Everybody just, hey, listen, don't worry about Boy. Listen to me. Don't worry about him talking shit. Listen to me. It ain't even funny how the autopsy can tell what happened to his knuckles, if he was in a brawl, if he was in a fight, and that he wasn't in a fight, nor that he was in a brawl, nothing showing any of that, right? How y'all can tell about that, but y'all can't tell what's going on with this bruise on the back of his head? This man got a bruise on the back of his head that's thick. Think about it. The water didn't even decapitate it. And the funny part is, think about that too. When this man's body come up missing, a day later when they find out, the Cajun Navy people didn't seen what's going on, and then the police called and say, hey, we're going to take lead on this. Y'all going to follow us. But then all of a sudden, we don't know nothing. And then the fact when the Cajun people drop a timeline of everything that happened and everything that needs to be answered, it's like, okay, now they looking like they us. And we just want to know truth. Like, where does it lead? But it's just funny how they said we're going to take the Mississippi office, the police said we're going to take lead. And y'all gonna follow us. So that means whatever he wanna do about the way he wanna do whatever. So I think that kind of threw me off a little bit, fam. Cause I'm like, how y'all find out about this man knuckle but not about his head? Hit that like button, let's go.
real. It's just like a trial, right? Where it's expert v. expert, who's telling the truth.
Sure.
I wanted to talk about this mystery altercation. If it happened at 5 p.m., that boat was already gone. Now, as much as some people want to hang the young guys on the boat, I want to make sure we hang the right person. If there is a mystery altercation.
And this is how you know this is a lie. They keep pinpointing these times. Let me say that again for the people in the back. This is how you know this is a lie. They keep pinpointing these times. Like he got in a fight, everybody looked at their watch. So you got to look at that, fam. Like, what? So Nancy is about to talk to a judge, and she's going to talk to some credible, understanding people that understand how this should be going, and the fact that somebody's covering up something because nothing is being seen. You understand? Hit that like button, double tap that screen, fam. We still trying to cook. Let's get right. Let's go.
After that boat lift, we need to be investigating that altercation.
Well, you're 100% right, because the 3 young men that are, at least people are saying are involved in this, that went there with Nolan Wells, there's a specific timeline from what I read. They needed assistance on their boat. They left at 4:30.
You
They
just
called
gave me a
CASH.
chill down my spine. You can't
there
introduce
is,
something because people say, I don't care what people say, on either side.
It don't matter.
Nothing to me.
Nancy, that's the problem when we have things like podcasts today, and people who are not qualified to talk about serious things like this. They're not experts. They want to get likes. Law enforcement is going to keep information close to the vest.
He saw the DMs. I don't have a reason to think he didn't see the DMs. Now, many people are arguing that he has taken a side. We have not taken a side. I'm on the side of finding out why everybody got back to the mainland except Nolan Wells.
But you see that? They trying to say, you see that? They trying to say Nancy picking a side because she's asking the same questions we are. I think the worst part about this right now, fam, is that when you hear this autopsy expert and you hear the judge and the autopsy expert is going to tell you the judge and the autopsy specialist is going to tell you that this ain't right. And we've already talked about the Sarah chick, who is the autopsy lady in Mississippi, and how her record shows that she's not even trying to find out what happened to people. She didn't even know people that been done wrong, foul play, and still the autopsy come back like, we don't know what's wrong. We don't know what happened. We don't know who did what. We don't know who involved. We don't know how they got involved. We don't know this. And all of a sudden, innocent black people being killed and guilty white people going free because this autopsy lady intentionally not doing her job correctly. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Listen to what he's finna say.
Well,
And
listen,
nobody
these
saw
are kids.
anything. Nobody knows anything. It's just like Tupac Shakur got shot on the strip.
Nancy,
in front of everybody.
I don't know what happened. Nobody saw a thing. That's BS.
These are young men hanging out. It's not unusual.
He sounds stupid too because he's saying these are young men hanging out. That's true. But let me tell you what is unusual. It's unusual to be hearing Nolan's name on that boat in that CASH call, and you got people yelling out all type of everything that got to do with living and dying, and all of a sudden you're hearing people talking about, damn it, Bart. But Bart in Wisconsin somewhere. But Bart done told everybody he wasn't there. Why are these white people yelling your name, boy, if you not there? See, that sound like black people will probably yell out a name if the person ain't there. because they yelling out like on the dead homies, or they yelling out, "Oh my God," on such and such, or when black people yell out a name like that, it's in regards to, it could be in regards to something else going on right there. Trust me, it can, because we doing it all the time, right? When white people call a name out or something happens serious, y'all don't just 9 times out of 10 get it wrong. Y'all don't get it wrong at all. Y'all know people's last name, middle name, first name. And y'all gonna use either or all the names at one time. Okay, shout out to Days of My Life 92 says, the friends never denied the background chatter on the CETO call. Woo, shout out to you, Days of My Life 92. Says that the friends never denied that background chatter. See, saying that the friends never said that wasn't me. Ain't no friend ever said. So I think, to me, it's just a difference game when I'm thinking about what I'm thinking and the way I'm thinking about it. Because again, if the CETO call is not being denied, or is not being investigated, or is just not being anything, that is the main thing that they're fighting now. And I bet they parents didn't even know. I know they didn't know. See, we know they didn't know they was being recorded, but I know they parents definitely didn't know. And you got to understand, why would you be recorded? You're calling for a tow in the water. The phone can disconnect at any time. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. We're gonna get it right. Let's go.
Stay behind to hang out with other people. None of that is unusual for teenagers partying and having a good time. So that fact alone doesn't mean anything.
Where's your cell phone? Where is your cell phone? And try not to lie. Where's your cell phone?
Okay, right there.
Oh, really? Because here's mine. So, you want to tell me Nolan Wells stayed behind and his cell phone went without it? I understand, don't everybody start screaming that he didn't want to get it wet. Of course he didn't want to get it wet. But there's ways around that. You can go put it on shore in your shoe, like everybody else does, to hide it from people, and then retrieve it when you go. But no, he let the boat leave with his phone. I agree with his mother on that. That is not Nolan Wells. He's never away from his phone.
So that doesn't mean anything in and of itself with what's coming out about this. You know, you're talking about him staying behind. You're talking about there's evidence that he was there after 4:30 p.m. If he's there after 4:30 p.m., Nolan Wells, on that island, hanging out with other people, that's it. The fact that a cell phone is on a boat and he's not as a teenager doesn't really mean anything at all.
Okay, you know what? I asked you about a mystery altercation, and should we be looking in that direction right now? And you're like going on and on about the cell phone.
No, but
everybody
that's my point.
Cell phone, which is everyone knows. You know.
This the point, though. Think about this. Check it out. Check it out. Feel me right quick. Why are they not releasing the video footage from every camera surrounding the area? Let me say that again for the people in the back. Why are they not releasing footage? You know, when a crime go down now in anywhere with anyone, right? The first thing they looking for is the street light cameras or any company cameras or any house cameras, any ring cameras, anything from anybody that got a look at this situation. Okay? That's what's going on today in the world. So this is another situation that I mean when it comes down to cover-ups and foul play, okay? They can easily just give them footage. But you see how they ignoring that footage part? Because they know if we get footage of anything, y'all would be trying to get footage just to say if he was on the island, but that footage from anywhere or any place would be showing more of Warren, Jax, and that other guy. So that's why they can't release no footage from nowhere. Because that footage shows where they were, what they was doing, and the time that they was doing it in. Now, the main footage that's very important footage that's needed right now is the footage from Warren's and them house. They give you the footage from a 9 a.m., but they don't give you the footage for the rest of that day to the nighttime. So that's how you know, again, somebody had already did the cleanup work when this first went down. That means somebody started cleaning this up early. Ain't no camera footage from nowhere. Just like the daddy called the tow people and told them, hey, listen, we don't need nobody, it's all good. So the daddy tell Bart, hey, listen, just come pull it up. And think about that for a minute. How Bart gone, his name is yelled on the boat, but then another boat had to get driven out. Somebody else had to drive the boat out. And the fact that his daddy would call the tow people and say, don't worry about it, and then all of a sudden they hightailing themselves to his house, that's a lie within itself, because you said you was never here, Bart. And this implements you being here. So you gotta forgive me, fam, because I be going through a lot. I got a lot going on, but I'm still here regardless. It's your boy Deala T, right here, no filters. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. We right here cooking for real. I'm saying the things that I'm here to say because I'm saying, again, we don't have to go back and forth about, did these people see them? Did these people see him? Is that him on the boat that they so desperately crying about being unalive? And then you got the phone messages that were deleted, okay? So it's a lot still to be unreleased to make sure. Oh, I'm already caught up, Mel Gilliam. I'm just taking you all back through these points that need to be proven and understood.
Fine. You have to look at what really happened. If there was this mystery altercation, then yes, the police need alone.
Start today, you may be to delay 2 mortgage payments. American Financing, 866.
And And I just wanted y'all to really see this.
Cheryl McCollum. He
Here we go.
dies. Nobody sees him. The others get back safely. Now we're hearing about an altercation afterwards. And I'm not ruling out that he was on that boat when they left. But now I'm hearing about an altercation. When you can't tell the truth of what's happening, look at who was angry. Look if there was an altercation. I don't know what happened, but when I hear altercation after the Triton left, I've got to go there.
You got to look at it. You absolutely cannot ignore it.
Now listen to her.
One thing we already know from the second autopsy, they would have mentioned if he had any type of injury to his knuckles, if he had been in a fight. We didn't hear anything about abrasions or bruising or any type of injury that would be indicative of somebody that had a college football player fighting someone.
Okay, now I have just told everybody that you're a forensic expert. It's starting to taste like a dirt sandwich. Because, okay, I'm gonna let you sit in the corner and think about what you just said. Joe Scott Morgan is joining me, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, star of the hit series, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. He is a death investigator with over 10,000 death scenes.
Yeah, this the guy I'm talking about. Listen
Death
to me.
of all genre.
And this how you be knowing people be wrong.
Joe
It's
Scott
janky.
Morgan. Let's refresh Cheryl McCollum's recollection.
Queen Shay in the building.
That's what you say in court.
See, yeah, they listen, you could call it BS, Queen Shay, but the way that this is happening is because, again, we all have an opinion and now we can all speak about it in public, put it in the public eye, right? But you got to understand something at the end of the day. When all of this go and come back and try to come back void, let me tell you something. When all else fails, Lord, truth. He said if his body stayed in the water for 2 days, the evidence is gone. Queen Shay said this whole case is entertainment BS and they playing games. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, Queen Shay. Give me a minute, like I was trying to tell you. It's definitely BS and they playing games. And they playing games because, again, the public eye can hear things and just dissect it and say, hey, yeah, listen, fam, that shit don't make sense. This story don't go with the next story, don't go with the last story. Now y'all got a bunch of stories, but ain't nobody getting punished for lying, contradictions. Like, come on, man. It's too much. It's too much. And I think too, in my right mind, when I'm thinking, fam, and I be just trying to get some stuff off my chest, and then I go in my days and I go into like these thoughts, I be tired of mother. In my real right mind, I want y'all to see this. And tell me what you saying.
Obviously, the witness is going off the rails. Your Honor, pause, Your Honor, objection. May I
Recollection. In other words, get it together. Don't you remember what we just talked about before you got on the stand and you give them a piece of paper and go, can we see that, the drawings on the autopsy control room? Joe Scott, there's a big, thank you.
Okay, now look at this.
There's a big honking mark, subcutaneous, deep reddening tissue on his occipital. If I hit somebody in the back of the head, it'd be right there.
Now, think about this. Think about this. Think about this. A bruise to the back of his head. We heard nothing but Bart and Nolan's name on the boat, right? So they said that ain't happened. So all of a sudden, now y'all saying that this man got into an altercation. Okay, cool. So he got into an altercation, but y'all saying he got into an altercation on the island, not on the boat with them. Okay, so You're saying he gets into an altercation, right? And then Tatum comes out and says, hey, 2 people said they for sure is telling him that me and my husband saw what you did and you gonna get locked up for that, right? That sound like some stupid shit Tatum and them white boys made up with them parents. That's all that sound like. That sound like some made up BS. That's all that sound like, fam. It just sounds stupid. Made up extra BS, fam. And then you try to put that, oh, me and my husband seen you and you going to jail for what you did. So we got to look at that. We got to pay attention to that. Check it out.
That is.
No, we don't. But to Cheryl's point, she's accurate. And here's why. Because in forensics, it's not just about positive findings. It's also about negative findings, those things that we are absent. So in that report, as she had mentioned, there was no indication that there was any kind of contusions on the hand, the arm, no kind of defensive event like a parry with a forearm.
So how he get in a fight? How he get in a brawl? How did he get in an altercation? And ain't nobody autopsy saying that man's hands ain't been touched. The man's body ain't been beat up, bruised. So that's a lie. All of a sudden, this man just all of a sudden got into a fight. But the only bruises to the back of his head, nothing else. Make it make sense, man.
You know, scuffing up the knuckles, that sort of thing. This forensic pathologist that did the second assessment didn't see any evidence of that. And so that's the first place I'm going to go to, aside from not having the actual primary autopsy report that has not been released yet.
Right.
But you've got an individual that has in fact been retained by the family that's making this assessment. And it's a pretty damn thorough assessment, as a matter of fact, based upon many of them that I've read over the years. You don't see any kind of insults to the arms, the hands, anything like this. The one thing about that thing in the back, this focal area that they're talking about.
That red area.
Is, and I come back to this all the time, Nancy, is that his body, Nolan's body, is in such a state of decomposition to this point that he cannot make a definitive assessment on that area. And he did a multi-layered dissection, which, by the way, according to him, had not been done by the state medical examiner's office in Mississippi. He just went about it a different way. And as a matter of fact, if you like that one, I got another one. The examination that this physician in DC did on Nolan's remains ranks right up there with the most thorough, hear me talking, the most thorough dissection that you can possibly do on human remains.
Wow.
It's the same one that we do on bodies that have been, that have died, individuals that have died, that have been incarcerated, in custody deaths. You know what all that means, in the back of a cruiser, in a holding.
Hold up. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Listen to me. That man said, the man that did the second autopsy, that's in Washington, right? He said he did the most thorough observations. And by the way, they have worked with bodies and unalived bodies that's be decomposed. There's been so many different conditions that they know how to identify if the water did that. They know how to identify if an altercation did that. They know how to identify. And because they know how to identify, So that's a lot, and that's the difference, fam, when we looking at that, because it's hard to say when it come off and say, hey, we talking about red flags, but it's different when y'all on a cover of campaign to make sure y'all don't look bad, and that's what it is. Because there's only so much y'all can say before you get to contradicting some more. So I think that's important, man. Like, we need to do that's a real deal. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, family. We in here cooking for real. Let's go.
In a prison, those autopsies rank right up there with the most thorough that we can go. It's a very deep dive that they did on his body.
Joe Scott, you are stating that due to the level of decomposition in Nolan Wells's body, that you can't really figure out why his occipital bone area had deep reddening, and that was seen nowhere else in the body. That's because of decomposition. Isn't that true?
Well, it's true in the sense that that's what
Didn't you just say that?
I'm repeating what the physician said in his autopsy report. I didn't do the examination.
So then that would be a yes. So at that level of decomp that you're claiming could obscure the nature of the deep reddening on his occipital area, but yet on the other side of your mouth, you are claiming that even with his intense decomposition, you didn't see evidence of any reddening on his knuckles or any indication of a fight. So you want it two ways. You want to say decomp, can't tell where that was on the back of his head, but even though he's highly decomposed, I can tell you, he didn't have any reddening on his knuckles. Really?
He did.
No.
Because that's wrong with that.
Okay, you've skinned your knee before, right? Okay. If you have an abrasion, that's completely different than a contusion. That means you have scraping and tearing away the skin. That's something that's very obvious. And guess what? I've been in enough fist fights in my life that I know what scraping. Right, I know, and you're misstating that because it's not a matter of reddening. When we look at hands, we also look at contact points where people are being abraded as a result of scuffing their hands.
Wow.
That's different than a color discoloration. We're talking about the top layer, the epidermis down to the dermis is being scraped away. He doesn't see any evidence of that in his
I'm not talking about a scrape. I'm talking about if he had, for instance, reddening from a welt, the beginnings of a bruise, with that level of decomp, you're telling me you could still make that out?
No, those two things cannot exist in the same universe. You have to have an abraded area, and there would be multiple of them on his hands if he is punching or trying to defend himself. And yes, we can make out bruises. Yeah, we can make out bruises.
You don't always have to have scrapes on your hand when you throw a punch. You don't always have to have cuts on your hand when you throw a punch. That's not true.
Well, that sounds mighty convenient if that's the road you want to go down, because I've seen them many times.
That's what I'm telling you. What you're saying is mighty darn convenient. That the reddening on the back of his head, can't really tell anything because he's so decomposed, but you can see his hands well enough to know he was not in a fist fight. Yeah, right. That's convenient, Joe Scott. Look, I'm not trying to convict anybody. I'm trying to find the truth. I'm trying to find out if this evidence of an altercation really happened. And to further muddy the waters, now we have more witnesses stating what they saw.
Another report.
I don't know about that either. That sounds just anything from Tatum. I don't believe shit.
Right. The investigation into the Nolan Wells death bombshell. Joining us tonight, Nolan's friends, lawyers fight back. Who's telling the truth? They think they know. But do they? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
It come on like it's the news, don't it?
There's a big honking mark, subcutaneous, deep reddening tissue on his occipital. If I hit somebody in the back of the head, it'd be right there.
There was no indication that there was any kind of contusions on the hand, the arm, no kind of defensive event.
Back to Officer Tatum, star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube. Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And so
now look how quick you switched up.
Law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took the
Why do you say
polygraph
that's
test
from
but
what you
one.
understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Right, because you're doing a lot of
yes,
talking,
ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot of tests, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lot of tests. And
you interviewed Warren.
And it's an equivalent of a lot of tech tests. It's not a traditional lot of tech test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lot of tech tests. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if people were telling the truth or not.
Did they take a polygraph would be no. That is Officer Tatum from The Officer Tatum.
No, that's Brandon Tatum. That ain't Officer.
Joining us tonight are two very special guests. They are convinced of the friends, and when I say quotes, I don't mean they are or they're not friends, because I don't know. The young men on the Triton boat that took Nolan Wells to Horn Island. Many argue he was on the boat on the return when foul play occurred. Many argue he was not. In fact, the timeline has blown up because there are reports that Nolan Wells was seen on the island after the friend's boat left, which would exonerate them. Is that true? I don't know, and I'm trying to find out. For me, nobody's guilty and everybody's a suspect because we don't know the truth yet, but we will. Joining us tonight, Tyler Cox, the lawyer for several of the young men with the law firm Taylor and Cox, him being the Cox. Also with us, another veteran trial lawyer, Edward Pulsick, attorney for the boys as well. Actually, they're not boys. They're adults in the eyes of the law due to their age. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us tonight. My first question to clear up this matter.
Now, trip off this real quick. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, listen to me. Now, that's the Carl Cox guy. That's the lawyers. These are the lawyer guys. So I want you to listen to what they saying. Don't trip on me falling out, because I always come back. But trip out what he's saying and the way he's saying it and how quick he got on it. And then look at this sad signal sign. I don't know what this is, but boy, it's so funny that if y'all ain't learned by now, don't play with boss, don't play with us. So we're gonna find out one way or another. And that's just what it is.
Have your clients taken polygraphs?
Now listen to this.
First to you, Tyler Cox.
Nancy, my clients have not taken a polygraph test. And I can tell you.
We just called we just called Brandon Tatum in the lie. He telling Nancy Grace that them boys allowed to take the test. His real lawyer just said, no, he haven't.
Because any lawyer worth their salt is going to tell their clients not to take a polygraph test under any circumstances. Two of my clients went in and made statements with me. We're not going to I'm not going to do a polygraph test because one, as you know, they're not admissible in court. And so it wasn't going to be admissible anyway. You should never, ever, if you're a lawyer, allow your clients to take a polygraph test. Now, we allowed investigators from the jump to have access to their phones, their Life 360, everything. We have cooperated implicitly every step of the way. But no, they didn't take polygraph tests. But what I'll tell you is one of the other boys, who I won't mention their name, but I'm sure that you've heard, took one. The girl that Nolan was with took a stress analysis voice test, and so did the other boy. So that's the test they took. Both of them passed. And so, again, no lawyer worth a salt is going to tell his clients to take a polygraph test or anything like that.
I would like to corroborate part of what Tyler Cox just said. Any defense attorney, whether they're truly convinced their client is innocent or guilty, they're not going to allow a poly. I've never seen that. I've had a couple of lawyers, maybe 3, in all the years I practiced, all the people I put behind bars, consent before trial to a poly. 3.
Wow.
And they were all criminal cases that carried severe penalties. So, what he's saying is true, even if you think your client is innocent. Very rarely will you see a defense lawyer say, sure, take a poly. However, I disagree with you regarding their admittance into court. Polygraphs are allowed in civil trials. O.J. Simpson, he flunked horribly. And if both sides stipulate to the polygraph's admittance before the polygraph is taken, it can come into a criminal trial. The reality is that never happens. That never happens.
Right.
Never.
At the time that we first cooperated with police, the first very week, the days after, just 1 to 2 days after the disappearance of Nolan Wells, we're not thinking about a civil suit. We're not thinking about that. We're thinking about how can we provide as much information to authorities so that they can find Nolan Wells. And it was not until after we spoke to officers and investigators that Nolan, unfortunately, his body was found on Horn Island, washed up. And it's unfortunate. And I hate that for Nolan because by all accounts, he was an incredible person. He was just truly remarkable in almost every sense of the word. But we're not thinking about a civil suit.
You don't even know him.
At that point in time, we're trying to help authorities find a friend who we can't find either.
Edward Poltz joining us in addition to Tyler Cox, both of them veteran trial lawyers. He is with Taylor Dykema. Edward, How did you get involved in this case?
Well, I'd rather not talk about that. I can just tell you this. I can tell you that.
See, look at that, look at that.
Friend of a friend.
You're kidding.
See what I be talking about? A friend of a friend. Brandon Tatum. Turning point. And see, for me, the fact that he said I'd rather not discuss that, but just a friend of a friend. And it's like, okay. So y'all got in touch with y'all to clear your name in this case, or y'all got in touch with y'all to carry out this defamation? So we got to look at stuff like that, fam. I mean, we got to look at all of that, you know, because right now he don't even want to tell you how he even came into the picture, you know. And a lot of this sounds like corruption behind it, but a lot of it is based on knowing that they are paying them to clear their name. And see, that's different than just retaining a lawyer. You're retaining him to clear your name. Here we go.
Because when you tell me I'd rather not answer,
Well, I want to
That's
protect
just
the names that.
igniting me to find out how you got involved in the case.
Well, hold on. I can tell you a little bit more. I can tell you this. I can tell you a close friend who knows the Ocean Springs, Mississippi community very, very well, is from the area, connected me to a friend of his, and then I found myself speaking to Tyler here, and Tyler and I instantly became very close friends. We both have blue pickup trucks, so now we're the Blues Brothers. We just became very close. We hit it off.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you know this janky, because he throwing humor in there.
Speak to Jax, and we hit it off also. And I immediately realized these are incredibly fine young men. I realized right away I wanted to help them out.
Ed, to you and Tyler, I'm not saying they have lied, and I'm not saying they haven't lied. I don't know. I have no reason to disbelieve your clients or to believe them. But you do know that people can look you right in the face and lie through your teeth, and you believe them. I've done it. I've had witnesses that I found out were lying to me, and it was a huge blow. I've had police officers. I worked a case, a child trafficking case. My first child trafficking case. Worked it. I finally found the little girl. I went into a room full of sex workers. They went, she's in there. I'm like, there's no child in there. They went, she's the one in the white boots. She looked like she was 38 years old. She's 14. That said, we won the case. But fast forward about 10 months later, I was walking through the grand jury room and I saw these horrible federal court sketches. I'm like, oh my stars, is that who I think it is? It was my vice cops. They had been stealing from dopers and they got indicted by the feds. And I had been out on the street with them every day for months trying to prove a child trafficking case. So, just because somebody tells you the sky is blue does not mean the sky is blue. You do know that, right?
Well, I can tell you this. They were off Horn Island at 4:30 p.m. on July 4th. And Nolan Wells was seen alive.
Now we're getting somewhere. How can you prove that to me other than them telling you? I assume you got GPS tracking and a call to see
We have,
listen, man.
Well, we have witnesses among other.
The type of talking he doing is they should be able to prove that. I don't care what nobody say. Type of talking he doing, they should be able to go on and go prove that situation right now. Let's go.
But I can also tell you this. They were off the island at 4:30 p.m. and Nolan Wells was seen alive by multiple people at 6 p.m. still on the island. And I'm sure Tyler would be happy to elaborate on that. But this is a no doubt 100%.
Please tell me, Tyler.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I don't believe any of these people, and I don't disbelieve any of these people. I want to hear about witnesses that spotted him alive after 4:30. Because I believe I can confirm the boat left around 4:30. And I'm referring to the Triton. That's the boat they were on. There are a lot of boats. We'll see the video of all the boats out there. So when I say Triton, I'm talking about the boat Nolan was on the way to the island. There's a lot of boats out there and a lot of witnesses too. This is from the Officer Tatum. Okay. There are witnesses placing him there at 6. And I want to be very clear, gentlemen, that I'm not convinced he drowned just because somebody said so. Even if he did drown, that does not mean that there wasn't foul play. Why is that rock on the back of his head? Was he hit on the head and fell in the water? Was he held under the water? Was it an accident? I don't know. But I am very interested in witnesses that place him alive at 6 p.m. Please tell me, Tyler Cox.
So Nancy, look, we have had multiple witnesses reach out to us, 2 confirmed witnesses that saw Nolan Wells on the island around 6 p.m. on July 4th. Well after the Triton, as you said, left around 4:30. And so those witnesses have went to investigators, they've talked to the police, and they've done what they're supposed to do. We've cooperated 100%. So has
Where did they
those
see him,
witnesses.
Tyler Cox? Where did the witnesses see them? Do they know him well enough to make a positive ID? Hey, speaking of a positive ID, Controlman, please pull up a photo that we showed a couple of days ago. There are 2 or 3 women, white females, walking along the beach, as I recall, each clad in a bikini. There is one, I believe, a white male and one black male walking with them. That, can you zoom in a little bit? That's not really helping me that much.
Because who the hell is that? That ain't no Nolan Wells.
Did your witnesses know Nolan? Can they identify him? Because I'm looking right at this and I cannot identify if the male behind the female on the white, the female wearing a white hat, I can't tell if that's Nolan or not. It's a very blurry photo. I can't make it out. So, do your witnesses know him? I mean, let me see my guess, please. Mr. Holtzick, Mr. Cox, I know the 2 of you. I don't see both of them. There they are. The 2 of you have tried a lot of cases, as have I. To get in or attack an eyewitness, you, and it's in the code, the official code of Mississippi annotated. There are prescribed methods under which you cross-examine an eyewitness. For instance,
What you say, Isaiah Garza? You're gonna interact with your chat or just be weird and live stream your thoughts. Because you're wrong, don't even bother trying to say anything to us. Shut the fuck up, Isaiah. Get your goofy ass out of here. Talking shit. We ain't even finna hear from your stupid ass no more. Cause what you talking about? Now the host mad. Who you talking about? Oh no, I ain't mad. Jared, B9598. I ain't mad, Jared. What type of name you got? No, I ain't mad, Jared. It's just, stop talking shit. It's like dirty. Don't come in here talking about interact with y'all. I'm giving y'all facts. We listening right now. Interact. We gonna talk about it. Don't come in here talking about what's right and what ain't. You coming in my house. Get out my house and go to somebody else's house. But I ain't mad at all. Just watch your mouth. Talking all that yeah, lean, yin, yang, boy.
Does the witness know the target? Was the lighting sufficient? How far away was the witness? What were the conditions of the eyewitness identification?
Right.
Was the eyewitness inebriated or high or otherwise incapacitated?
Because you just can't say you got two people. Like who?
Glasses, it goes on and on and on.
Because I think these two ignorant ass lawyers think they just finna come out of nowhere and say, hey, well listen, Tatum said it was two people, and now they finna say it's two people that seen it. Okay, but ain't nobody said nothing to Ben Crump. Wow, okay. And don't nobody know. Oh wow, this sounds, see this, that's what I'm saying. It's just like the case. Y'all only talking to Crump. Y'all only talking to Tatum. And then Tatum come out with some narrative. The lawyer's running with it. And y'all telling me that because y'all talking about two people that seen, you saying two people swear it, they seen him. That shit don't even matter, bro. Like, we don't even know if you all are a credible source to even lean on. Not to make a full-fledged decision on, you know, the next step of it, but it's the way we install it though. It's a way to go about doing it. Because even in this interview, they get
Tell
pretty
me
out
about
of
these
hand.
witnesses. How do they know it was Nolan? Hey, control room, show me that picture of Nolan on the boat. He's bent over. All I can see are his legs and his behind. The only reason I think that's Nolan because it matches his swimsuit. Did they see that? How can they identify Nolan? First to you, Tyler.
Well, I'm not sure if the witnesses saw that picture that you just put on the screen, but I can confirm to you that these witnesses know Nolan. They've known him for a long time. They were able to make a positive ID, and they told that to investigators. They told them that from the very start.
Had they been drinking?
That I do not know.
How are they sure it was 6 o'clock? Look, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking the questions I would ask in court. How do they know it was 6 o'clock? Did they go, oh, there's Nolan Wells at 6 p.m.?
Well, I'm pretty sure, Nancy, they were aware of the time.
How you know they were pretty sure?
I'm not sure if they were drinking or not, but they're the ones that came forward to police and investigators, and that's their story to tell. What I'm telling you is they made a positive.
How the hell do they know that?
Nolan Wells.
How do they know that?
Around 6 o'clock.
All of a sudden, see, that's how you know they lying.
All while.
But this how you know they lying. Because how are they the only ones that know somebody came forward? And they know everything about this. It's like these are two people that they know. Don't nobody else know nothing, heard or nothing, but they just got it. Lying.
Our clients were off the island around 4:30. So we have positive identification on Nolan on the island an hour and a half after our clients left. So, as you know from your experience as a prosecutor, they can't do two things at once. They can't be on the island at 6 o'clock and be on the boat going off the island at 4:30. So, that's where we are. Our clients have nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells. We don't know how he died. We want to know. Please tell us. Somebody. We want to know just as much.
No, you don't, because y'all ain't been wanting to know.
Loved Nolan Wells.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
I've still
yet
to hear one bad thing about Nolan Wells. He was a good Ocean Springs kid. Just as Chuck Bordy says all the time in the courtroom, these are good Ocean Springs people. So Nolan was a good Ocean Springs person too. They love Nolan. We want to know, will someone
Okay, just stop right there, Tyler. Tyler, I've got one hour, and nobody's running for miscongeniality. Let's just let it be noted, judicial notice, they were all good. Everybody's good, okay? Tyler,
yes.
The witnesses that came forward, here's something that would tend to corroborate them, is if multiple witnesses said the same thing. Witnesses separated in time and space, witnesses that are not all friends, witnesses that are not good friends with your clients, that may have a reason to be fuzzy on the time. I'm not saying they are, or that they're not. Here's my question to you. Are these witnesses friends of your clients?
I don't think they're friends, and they're not even the same age.
Okay. Next question. How many witnesses place him there on the island at 6-ish?
At least 2 that I know.
2. Do the witnesses know each other?
Yes.
Were they together that day?
Yes.
Have they had a chance to discuss their recollections with each other before they came to police?
Well, I'm sure they did. Nancy, look, they did what they were supposed to do, and they spoke to police officers. And you know as well as I do that if investigators or a DA's office had any sort of probable cause to make an arrest in a case like this, they would have.
Or they may be gathering evidence to make sure they've got all the evidence that there is. I mean, I would wait until I had all the evidence, including a completed autopsy. You know what? I'm going to jump ahead. But regarding the body, regarding Nolan's body, we've heard all sorts of inflammatory things. But the one thing that, well, many things are very interesting and probative. For instance, why was Nolan's neck of so much interest to the original medical examiner that it was removed? His foot wasn't removed, his toe wasn't removed, his ear wasn't removed. Why his neck? The lungs and the neck were removed.
Wow.
Which obviously Edward Pulsick touches on COD, cause of death. I understand why the medical examiner took his lungs. He had to run tests on them to determine, did he drown? Of course, all three of us know you can drown and there still be foul play. Somebody whacked you on the head, somebody held you underwater. It could be any number of things, or it could be an innocent drowning. But why the throat?
Right.
What was curious about the throat?
Right.
Were there marks on the throat?
Right.
Was there a ligature mark? Was
Right.
there manual strangulation? Was
Right.
there compression? Were there bruises? Were there scratches?
See, Carl Cox and them, see, these two lawyers are basically trying to tell Warren and them, hey, you all have nothing to worry about. We're just going to solve the case that you all wasn't involved. We can make a case for everything else in the world, but we're going to make a case that you all wasn't involved because you all wasn't there and the times don't match. And we're going to have 1 or 2 witnesses to come out and say that as well. Fam, look at this, man. What? Think about it. Because it sounds so stupid. We got to make it make sense, fam. Y'all out here just busting out like ain't nothing.
I don't know. Was the hyoid missing? I could go on, but I won't. Do either of you know what was of interest to the medical examiner in the removal of Nolan's throat?
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Something happened to him in his throat, and they removed it, and they don't want to say what it is. So let's just be real on that part. They're holding his throat, and whether they're giving it to the grand jury or not, something happened to his throat, and they don't want us to see what that is because that says what an altercation was. That also says if it wasn't an altercation, and if they're trying to create an altercation which will explain the bruises or this bruise, which don't explain him not having any bruises or him not having any abbreviated measures or marks that say he even had anything that was active on his hands. That man had nothing on his hands or arm that says he was in a confrontation. So let's just get that out the way. But the fact that it's being brought up in that manner, and that man, come on, man. You got to understand, man. Something happened to that man's throat, and they don't want us to know what that was. So now y'all got to cover that part up too. Y'all got to cover that up to when they can tell us about it. So you got the throat situation. They got a story about him being in an altercation, but his body don't even say he was in an altercation. He got one bruise to the back of his head. That's the only thing on his body that's permanently showing somebody did something to him. By permanently showing somebody did something, because that particular bruise has lasted, and the way it lasted, even after the body being decomposed, even after police took a whole day and a half just to say, hey, we're going to work lead on this case and you all can follow up. I mean, come on, man. This just got out of hand when I'm thinking, fam.
I'll tell you this, listen, we're not coroners, we're not medical examiners. We want to know what happened to him just as much as everyone else, quite frankly, more. Because Nolan was their best friend. Warren, Morgan, Jax, Nolan was their best friend. We want to know what happened. We haven't examined Nolan's body. We're not scientists.
I just thought maybe you had been somehow told why they took his throat. Okay, that's a no. We don't know why they took his throat.
Yeah, we don't want to speculate.
Let me start with an open-ended question to you gentlemen. I started with why haven't they taken a polygraph? I want to hear what your clients are saying happened that day, because my interest is piqued because you stated a young lady, and I assume this is Katie, the mysterious Katie, who turns out not to be that mysterious at all.
At all.
Much was made of that. Now, one thing about Katie, originally, one or some of your clients said he was with some girl, we don't know her. Then it turned out they had been texting with her. So no. There may be an innocent explanation for that or not. So explain to me, who were they talking about when they said he was with a girl, we don't know her? He had never met her before, but yet they were texting.
It was a lie.
The girl he had been with. I'll throw that to you, Tyler. Do you know the answer to that?
Sure. So they didn't know Katie, and they believe that Nolan didn't know Katie before that day. But you have to remember, once they started getting suspicious that Nolan wasn't with them anymore, they start asking themselves, okay, well, where's Nolan? They start texting everyone that they knew. Hey, have you seen Nolan? Do you know where Nolan is? Did he make it back home? All before they called Christine Wells that night, they start asking everybody. And so eventually they end up getting, through mutual friends, whoever, Katie's number. And so I believe it was maybe Snapchat or text message. They got in communication with Katie. And Katie says, I don't know. We thought he was leaving with y'all. Well, I don't believe that's the case, obviously, because he did not leave with our boys. We don't know what happened to him, but that's Katie's. That's how they got a hold of Katie's numbers, because they're frantically trying to find out what happened to Nolan.
What's your take on it, Ed? Because I think he's saying they did know Katie, I couldn't tell if he said did or didn't. Did he say they all did know Katie?
No, they did not.
They didn't know Katie. All right, and they determined who.
And see again, hit that like button, double tap that screen. Let me tell you what the lawyers are doing. The lawyers are here to clean up these stories that Warren came out and said, talking to Tatum. Whoever in their right mind said, oh, you know, we just finna go talk to Tatum. Let's just do an interview for Tatum. And then you're doing it with the one guy that didn't even want to be a part of this in the first place. He claimed Warren. So, wow. Now when he says they didn't know Katie, they saying they didn't know Katie. But you know that's a lie because Bart on the picture with her. And they got to carry that to the grave with that lie.
Okay. Hey, hold on. Tyler, you said your clients began to get suspicious, whereas Nolan. When did they get suspicious?
It was later that night. I believe it was around 9 or 10 o'clock, maybe even 11, that they start saying, oh, well, has anyone seen Nolan? Where's Nolan? Did he make it back home? Did anybody know? They start calling around, texting, asking everybody. And once they determined that no one had the answer about where Nolan was, that's when they called Christine Wells. And then they stayed on the phone, my client stayed on the phone with Christine Wells for about 5 or 6 minutes. And then he tells her, look, I'm gonna call the Coast Guard just to make sure. And he did. He stays on the phone with the Coast Guard for 21 minutes.
Okay. Ed Polsick, also veteran trial lawyer. You concur with that explanation of why they first said, I don't know her, we don't know her, he didn't know her, and then
And they all knew.
Yesterday, during former Officer Tatum's groundbreaking interview, that was not groundbreaking at all, there was a new character reveal, and he goes by the name of Lawyer Edward Polinsky. Now, at first, nobody knew who Edward was because he came out cosplaying as a teenager in a hoodie and a baseball cap that said, "Call Cops." But Edward looked a little familiar to me, so I did a little bit of deep diving, and then it all came back to me. Do y'all remember Ashley Janae? And if you do remember Ashley Janae, then you remember this super creepy picture of Ashley and her fiance, Joe McCann. And if you don't remember those two names or those two pictures, I'm sure y'all remember this video of Ashley getting engaged before they found Ashley unresponsive in her hotel room, Tanzania. And when Ashley unfortunately lost her life April the 9th, 2026, and everybody and their mama thought Joe McCann had something to do with it, who did Joe hire? None other than Edward. When the white elite gets in trouble, they call on Little Eddie. Sorry, bro, you show up in a baseball cap and a hoodie like this trying to cosplay and fit in, we're just gonna call you Little Eddie for the rest of this video, okay? For those of you who followed this channel daily during the Ashley Janae investigation, you know two things. One, I do not like Joe McCann, and I also do not like Eddie. And guess what? They don't like me either. They do not like the way that I covered the Ashley Janae investigation. And when I am done exposing Little Eddie, unfortunately, we are going to cover part 2 of former Officer Tatum's interview that he released yesterday. And make sure you stay tuned for that because I caught Officer Tatum in another lie. And I don't even want props for it because it's like so easy now. This all he does is just lie and keep lying. There has been a ton of developments over the past 24 hours and a lot more lies. Sit back, relax, I'll tell you everything you need to know, and then I'll hand it off to you, the out louders. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Before we go into former Officer Tatum's part 2 of his interview with the boys and Little Eddie, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a background into Eddie and just want to let you guys know what he's been up to over the past 2 months. Like I told you in the beginning of this video, Eddie represented Joe McCann, and I do not like Joe. Joe does not like me. And Eddie does not like me either because I have been adamant about talking about both Eddie and Joe McCann on this channel for almost a straight month during the Ashley Janae case. That is not completely over. Let me just leave it at that for now. But let's just concentrate on little Eddie over here, okay? I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a refresher of the way that Eddie goes about his business. Now, here is one of little Eddie's claim to fame. During the Ashley Janae investigation, he caught a content creator making a mistake, brought her to court, if I'm not mistaken, or threatened, and she backed down from defamation. I'll read you a little bit here of what he wrote. Recently, Lisa made deeply hurtful and false accusations about my friend and client, Joe McCann. Sounds familiar? Same thing he talks about with the boys. Oh, these upstanding gentlemen, my friends of Ocean Spring. All of his clients are his best friends. Lisa made hurtful and false statements about my friend Joe McCann, particularly about the relationship Joe shared with his beloved Ashley Robinson. That's her real name. Everybody knows her as Ashley Janae. And the circumstances surrounding Ashley's tragic passing. Below you will find Lisa's apology and retraction regarding her false statements. I'd like to thank Lisa for writing.
So you see, dude have been involved with other people's stuff. Thank you. Katrina said, why call his mother asking if she heard from Nolan, knowing they had his phone? You ain't lying. Because how they gonna any of that without their phone? But that's the stuff I'm talking about when it comes to pushback, objections, things to be said, because these people are coming with what they saying and they don't even know that they stepping on their own toes, their own foot, their own everything. As always, fam, you know what the level is and what the deal is. Monday through Friday with your boy Deala T right here at 9 p.m. Central Time. Coming in real nice and loud, understanding that we here to inform, understand, and be aware. That if it walk like a, talk like a, we gon' cancel them at the door. You feel me? Truly appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in, family, showing your love, your like, your care. To understand, to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode, and share this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, never forget, get comfortable. Truly get you something to eat. Truly get you something to drink. Something to smoke if that's what you do. Because you see the title, fam. You in here with your boy Deala T, my fam. And this is, what? No filters. Good night, family. Y'all be safe. Lock your doors.